And good afternoon. It's your friendly neighborhood Tironan, and you're flying my very unfriendly skies where every other person desperately wants to kill you. Alright, so we have the F2H out. I've now purchased the folding fin rockets. Don't really know how to use them yet. But I can tell you with all certainty this is a zoom pass, and it doesn't have enough speed yet to really do its job. I haven't got the engine upgrades yet. This is going to be one of those aircraft where you're really going to appreciate it when it gets fully upgraded, and you're not going to appreciate it as much until then. And it comes down to a very simple reason. It's not that maneuverable an aircraft. It's a 13-second 160 on this one. You're also going to be an aircraft where you're going to get very familiar with sniper mode, because it is most effective in its gunnery when it is far away. That's a wonderful thing, as far as it goes. But don't assume that you can, expert shot your way through this thing without a little assist. You're going to need all the help you can get. And you can tell as a dogfighter, it's really good boom and zoom. So we're going to get this guy off my tail, come back around, use it like it's used best, like a sniper. Get the flaps back off here. And tear them up some more. Now the thing's got 720 DPS, and when you get the Vulcan on it, you get 800 DPS, which hits like a laser beam. You're going to enjoy that. But what this thing doesn't do well is deal well with height, and it does not deal well with turning. Now, the turning bit I get. The height bit I don't understand at all in this aircraft. And the reason for it was this thing had a 51,000 foot ceiling. I mean, when it comes to knowing what you're about height-wise, this aircraft is just misnamed. It is not the right aircraft at all. Okay? It's being shoved into a multi-role, except for the folding fin rockets, which, they come in a swarm, and they're effective in ground-to-ground rolls, but they are not, under any circumstances, what one would call a real power punch. And so it makes it a little bit of a strange aircraft to deal with. Now this guy will actually stay still for a moment. We'll see if we can't use these rockets. And we missed, I'm pretty sure. I noticed that the 20s on this overheat really quickly. Once you get the guns on target, it's over very quickly. Alright, let's see if we can suck this guy into range and do our thing. Anyway, when you get out to 2,700 feet, which is about where you're going to be at for this thing, you're going to have to switch to sniper roll. It's just a forward click on your mouse button. Easy to do. Alright, looks like a Fury got me. He's actually a little faster than I am. And the reason is I haven't got my engine yet. But essentially, if you're used to the F-2G, this is an aircraft that you will feel very familiar with. Alright. Anything that doesn't maneuver well, bombers, fighter bombers, that sort of thing. Anything you sneak up on, keep them max range and just let them have it. And this RB-17 looks like he is fit for the role. Or would have been if he hadn't died on me. Alright.
Great job today. We'll be waiting for you back home.
That's not my best game by a long shot, but it will do. Alright, but it does demonstrate the folding fin rockets. Where you really want to use it is on like heavy bombers. Anything, when you're using them on attack aircraft, ground attack aircraft, this is going to shine. Flown this thing a few times, I still haven't got the proper feel for it. We've killed essentially 6 aircraft. But I'm not getting the best use out of it yet. Some things that are going to help. And it's not the guns. I thought it would be the guns. But, and I may change my mind once I get to upgraded on it. But you can tell, I came in at the middle in performance, and brother does it show. Alright. Upgrades. You're going to get this, is just a matter of purchasing them when you get the aircraft. This costs you 24K in experience. I could have gotten the engines if I just held on a little longer. I'm about 2/5 of the way there right now. So I'm going to have to pick that up. But this will get you some of your speed back. Right now I'm at 550. You know, there's a lot of aircraft that are that speed, and this thing's role really is boom and zoom. And the heavy ordnance against bombers and ground attack aircraft are really going to come in handy. But it's got to be against the right aircraft. If you saw, you get lined up and the guy makes the slightest movement away, you're probably not going to hit unless he's going, most likely you're not going to hit. If you are going head-to-head with somebody, you can take them out very quickly. And that's something I didn't see a whole lot of in this particular game. Alright, when you go up to your first engine upgrade, however, you're going to jump up to 568, and then when you go up to your last upgrade, you're going to go to 587. If you want more speed, you can drop the rockets. Alright, and at that point, you're at 596, puts you right up with the F2H, and in fact, you're more maneuverable than an F2H. If you can use an F2H, you can use this very well. Like I said, I'm still getting used to it, and I'm pretty sure that these engine upgrades are going to be very important. Another upgrade is right here. For those of you that are history buffs, this cannon is still used on most aircraft to this day in one form or another. Essentially, you take all your DEFA cannons that were out there. There is going to be some noise in the background, and we've got a helicopter outside that is running around and just will not go away. And I've waited 15 minutes for it to go away, and it still hasn't. Not sure what's going on out there, but that's one I can't control. All right, but when you get that, your power is going to go up to DPS is going to go up to 800 with the same range. So you're going to get a minor upgrade, 10% or so. And that's all you're going to get out of it. God knows it might actually cool down faster. That would be nice. And maybe not heat up as much, but I don't know. The main thing is that you get a increased, a very high rate of fire. This thing is showing 3,000 rounds a minute, and I'm going to tell you that's nerfed from its 6,000 rounds a minute. So we got plenty of speed thanks to aircraft polish. I'm still trying to decide what I want to put in here. And when you get this upgrade going, you're going to be fast enough. Now, one of the things that I particularly find, the maneuverability on this is pretty good for what it is. The attack altitude performance is just short of 6,000. 5906 to be exact. What's really irritating about this was a high altitude performer in real life. Maximum operating altitude on this service ceiling was 51,000 feet. And this is the case of multi-role being misapplied. Okay? It was a bomber interceptor. That's what it was being designed for. I imagine it made a pretty good photo reconnaissance aircraft, too. There were 4 versions of this, A through D. The A version came out, and it had engine problems. Not unusual for new aircraft, but these ones were particularly severe. Weren't a lot produced, and they went to the B version, where they went out and changed the engine, and it became a very reliable engine, and then they took all the A models and converted them to B models, essentially by converting the engine. And then they came out with the C model, which had you can see the pod mounts there, which had its rockets in the nose, and that was the version of that. A D model came out with further refinements, which is what you have here. There was exactly one produced, and it was produced by the company itself by Lockheed to come out and say, hey, look, this is a new model. We think you'll be really interested. The Air Force said, you know, we have better models coming out, and no thank you. They then used it as a test bed for the M61 Vulcan cannon. And there's a story behind that. They essentially took the old Gatling gun, literally took the old patent and looked at it and said, you know, we can use this, and then upgraded it with a hydraulic or electric motor in some cases. Ended up having to put a huge tank and went into a development project with it. What they came out with was a 6,000 round a minute cannon. You've seen these on YouTube before. They're just phenomenal. They can saw an aircraft in half. One squirt will destroy aircraft, period. And but they had to develop entirely new feed method for it, because you can't use links. So that linked ammunition you see on everything from the Browning machine gun, the Maxim, that didn't work on these. They worked for years trying to overcome the link problem. In fact, it was one of the things that slowed down the M39 cannons. They had to work so long on the linkage system. And they finally decided, you know, we'll just develop a linkless system. And so the cannon rounds are fed in by a power actuator through a feed chute, and then they're dropped out into the barrel, into the magazine afterwards. Pretty neat, though huge installation. If you go to Wikipedia and take a look at one of these things, it's just, oh my God, you can't believe the size of the thing. So you put in one, but you look at that, and then you take 4 Aiden cannons, is what it takes to equal the performance of this, and you see a huge installation that has to be dropped out of the nose. Yeah, it's something else. So, and there's trade-offs. It's a 20 millimeter, but it's an extremely fast-moving 20 millimeter, velocity-wise. And the Aiden's coming in at about 27. This one's coming in with the 20 millimeter at 3,300 feet per second. So there is a marked difference in the arc. It's much flatter shooting than the Aiden, and they tried to make up with rate of speed over damage per shell. So there you go. The folding fin rockets, where they were going to come in handy, is, you remember when you get behind one of those I-20s or I-40s and just seem to wear your cannon out and you still haven't made that much of an impact? These puppies will do it. Okay, you send them out in a flight of, it looked to me like 12, maybe it's a little less, maybe it's a little more. They hit and they cause 400 damage each, and they are good to air. You can also use them air to ground. So you have some ground punch with that, and it gives you some more versatility. And when you're going after an attacking bomber formation, this can make very quick work of it. So something to be aware of, and whether 9 miles an hour or not is worth it to you. To me it is, because it gives you additional weapons flexibility. I think that's going to be worth it. I just haven't had a chance to use them against an attack formation of bombers yet. So as soon as I get that out, I'll put out another video showing the effect of these, and we'll take it from there. All right, I appreciate you spending some time with me. This is Tironan, and you've been flying my very unfriendly skies. Thank you so much. You have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe.